G'day folks, Andy here from McDowall Manor. So what you're looking at there is a cabbage that I got from a mate of mine, Mark. Thanks for that, Mark. It's one of his off his block. I've pulled a couple of shallots. Well, when I say pull, I actually cut them off because they re-sprout. From out of my yard, and we're about to make Okonominyaki. It's a Japanese dish. It's a little bit, for those who are familiar with fritters, it's a little bit like a cabbage fritter. Mine's probably going to be a fairly boring one, but we shall see. Depends on what ingredients I've got around, which is one of the beauties of the dish. So I'll show you how that goes as we go along, eh? Alright, so I found a half a purple onion in the fridge and I've chopped that up. Use that as well. It's the beauty of this dish, you can pretty much use what you've got lying around. So that's the cabbage, the shallots and the red onion. They're diced. I'm going to throw some garlic salt in a minute. I'm going to throw some turmeric in because I throw turmeric in everything. I've found a capsicum in the bottom of the fridge, so I'm going to use that too. It's not one of mine. You can use bacon. On this occasion I'm going to use three tins of tuna. Alright, so I'm about to beat 2 Bertha eggs. I can always tell whose eggs are whose, which makes it a bit weird because they're white. They're Berthas. When we beat them, we'll tip them into this mix, and then we're going to add some flour, just plain flour, and the last step will be to add that tuna I talked about. Alright, so that's just plain flour. We're about to add that into the mix. The trick with the flour is, for goodness sake, don't use too much of it. You're not really trying to make a pancake. The main consistency should be the veggies. Alright, so I've added the flour. That's the kind of consistency that you want. Not too much flour. You should still be able to well and truly see the veggies. Now the problem here obviously is it's too dry. It's not going to bind. But luckily that tuna has mayonnaise in it. So we're going to add that in, and then we'll have a look and I'll make a judgment about whether to add more flour. I probably ended up with about 2.5 cups of flour. It's a pretty big bloody bowl, I've got to tell you. So that's the final mix. I did add a little bit extra flour, so probably in total it would have been 3 cups of flour. And I added a little bit of milk just to wet it up because I've run out of Bertha eggs. So there's the mix in a little tiny fry pan. You can see I've squashed it fairly flat to make sure it cooks through. By rights, you'd fill the whole base of the fry pan with that mix. I find that makes it too hard to flip them, so I don't bother. I do a nice, I like to think of it as rustic formed. Or you could probably say it's a bit messy. And that's roughly how it's meant to be presented. It's got Japanese mayonnaise on top and a sauce called Okonomi sauce. It's kind of barbecue sauce really. If you can get it, it's well worth using because it really does make the dish quite distinctive. So there's Laurie. He's scoffing into the Okonominyaki. What do you think of it? You reckon it's good? There you go, an unbiased opinion. Alright, can you see your own fingers?
No.
Good. Alright, so my grandson Lawrence is being the cameraman at the moment. So I can use 2 hands. So I am obviously adding a fair bit. I reckon I'll add a cup and then I'll mix that in and I'll see if it needs more. Stop now. Not so close.
Okay, but that was perfect. I could see it perfectly.
Right.
Like that.
Are you recording?
No.
So I've added the flour. You can see that's the kind of consistency. Watch the screen, Lawrence. You're not watching the screen.
Okay.
That's the kind of consistency that we're looking for. At the moment it's too dry. Ordinarily I'd add an egg. But as it turns out, the tuna has made... Watch what you're doing.